Hello, my name is Chris, and this is my philosophy of education, my map to music, my educational roadmap. A little bit about myself. My name is Chris Zavala. My hobbies include games, traveling, and music. Currently, some background about myself. I am a Disneyland Resort Traditions facilitator and Disney University Spanish facilitator. So I help out the operations team in welcoming new cast members as well as helping Spanish speaking cast members adjust to their new roles. My goals in life are to study and continue my studies as a student to gain a bachelor's in music education with a focus on instrumental education. And I also want to earn a teaching credential to become an educator in public schools. Far in the future, I also want to gain some knowledge and become a Spanish teacher and share the love of my language to new Spanish speakers or bilingual students who just also want to learn more about their language. So now let's meet the crew on this expedition of ours. We have education, teachers, and students. Now, the SS Education, this ship right over here, the purpose of education is to guide minds through problem solving and the exploration of materials to ensure a better society for everyone. Education is there to help students become familiar with the workings of democracy and become good citizens. Now, using material related to our subjects, educators will show students different ways to think and grow their knowledge. In other ways, education is a way for students to, to become problem solvers using the knowledge that they learn and the knowledge that they will learn through education. Now, the guide, the captain, teachers. As a sail guides a ship, teachers are a student's sail or even their captain. In my case, especially for music education, I like to think of us as captains. Teachers are there to adhere to the type of knowledge that the student will need in order to solve problems relevant to them. In the case of music, it's just to find out how to create art that they like and that they enjoy. Using relatable material, current events, and the student's knowledge, the teacher poses questions that engage thoughtful responses and further interest in the subject. And the methods to teach may include group work and projects, and it will use knowledge that the students should understand in order to incentivize collaboration. So now, who are we doing all of this for? We're doing this all for the Wilderness Explorers students. All these students that are going to be exploring their lives, exploring this new material that's coming at them. The role of the student is to solve and explore these problems. They use the guide given by their teacher's instruction, and they work together to complete assignments related to real world issues. Students will discover information they want to learn by reading, through experimentation, and even by analyzing data during research for their assignments. And in this way, not only are they exploring these ideas, but they're really getting into them. Now, the idea that I really want them to explore personally is instrumental music. Now, instrumental music plays a big part of a lot of high schools because we have pep bands, marching bands, concert bands. But the goals in music, the very end goal that I want them to achieve by the time that they're out of high school from their music career is to connect and demonstrate how personal interests and knowledge relate to choices and intent when creating, when performing, and when responding to music. They may have a favorite genre of music, but I really want to teach them why it's their favorite genre, what they really like about it. They'll also demonstrate an understanding of context in a varied repertoire of music through prepared and improvised performances. Now, the context is a really big thing because as art, all art tells a story, including music. So now understanding what the kind of music that they're playing, the story behind it, if it has one, and what it's trying to convey through the music ideas is really going to help them understand and perform better. And finally, to demonstrate attention to technical accuracy and expressive qualities in prepared performances of a varied repertoire of music representing diverse cultures, styles, and genres. This is a really big one because as I was growing up in my band classes, it was very new to have small ensembles like jazz. Something I got into my senior year was a mariachi ensemble. So just finding these genres that you're able to perform in and creating these small groups really helps people elaborate on this art style. Now, why do I want to teach adolescents? Well, it's because as learners, there's a lot of different preferred methods of learning for each student. Now, understanding their strengths is what's going to help them succeed academically. I personally believe in the multiple intelligences theory because there's a bunch of different styles of learning. Not everyone's going to learn the same way. And in music, the three styles that I like to point out are interpersonal, kinesthetic, and auditory because it's the one that is most accessible through music. Interpersonal is where you're going to see students elaborating together in sectionals and in their small intersectional groups, maybe even in their small groups that they may create if they want to create a mariachi band. Kinesthetic is going to be the physical connection that they have through marching and dancing, and it connects directly to the auditory style of learning because of their emotional connection to sound. And like a puzzle, when you put these three together, we're all working as an ensemble interpersonally. We're marching and we're creating this sound. Now, when you put all that and you see a marching band performance, it's art. It tells a story, and it doesn't matter if someone's playing a super complicated part or simply background music. They're all part of this bigger picture. Now, this is just a short presentation on the different types of teaching and education that you may watch with using the link of this Prezi. But I want to dive now into the curriculum that I want to expect, that I want to show my students. So my curriculum is going to be centered on their interests, on the students' interests, and interdisciplinary solution seeking. Now, this is going to include rehearsing different types of music. In the past, a lot of rehearsals and music that people perform are Eurocentric, a lot of Beethoven, a lot of Mozart. Well, there's actually a much larger world out there of different music, like new compositions by Samuel or Hazo, which are more technical and American, and also understanding techniques in music to convey artistic ideas. Now, although you can read the notes off of a page, really understanding what crescendo means, what all of these different languages that are placed into the artistry of music to help us accent certain notes or emphasize a slur of notes instead of tonguing them is really going to help with the musical ideas and with creating the right picture of music. So, my teaching style, there's authoritarian, that is completely different because authoritarian is where you are in control of everything. As a band director, I will be teaching more authoritatively. And what this means is that I'll have a good balance of showing them what they should be doing, but also kind of seeing where they're at because you can never force perfection in music. The materials will be there. They will have instruments that are readily available for them, as well as auditory audio examples of the repertoire. And a really big help is, especially for performers in a band setting, is reviewing recorded performances, not only of other bands that may have performed the same piece, but also of themselves. So recording a rehearsal and then playing it back to them so that they can hear themselves will really help them see maybe something that they need to improve on or something that they need to work on. Some great activities will be working as a team in marching competitions, concerts, and ensemble groups. There will also include sectioned rehearsals where specific instrument groups will lead themselves by using student leaders, and also ensemble groups with different genres of music, like I mentioned earlier, like jazz and small. Maybe they want to perform in a small drum corps group. To assess my artists, there's different assessments I want to have for every performer, not only the new ones. In order for me to understand where they're at in their music, I would want them to perform a short etude, have a small prepared 30-second minute etude, a scale, and sight read to determine their chair or their ranking in their respective instrument or section. To keep up with their progress, during instruction, they will rehearse in an ensemble, and I'll be giving them feedback to improve artistry in repertoire through precise examples. And the final summative assessment will be their performances. Whether they're performing in a marching show, a concert, at school events, it's going to show that they understand the material. And at the end of the semester, each student will include a short performance of a solo piece on their instrument, or if they choose to do so, they can also have a small ensemble performance so they can perform with their peers and show their artistry in that way as well. In conclusion, we made it. We finally made it to music education. And the end result is that we now created artists. We boosted confidence in these students. We built discipline with the discipline that it takes to create this specific form of art. We connected students to their personal interests, and we supported their social and their academic lives.